Happy Tuesday and welcome to Super Bowl week here on Sports Memo Today. I've made no bones admitting that I'm a full-on homer for my Philadelphia Eagles, who are taking on Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs this week. And we got actionable information coming your way in 30 minutes or less with wall-to-wall Super Bowl coverage all week long right here only on Sports Memo Today. I'm your host, Dan Alexander, going to be joined by two of the best over at Sports Memo. When you're talking about betting on the gridiron, we got Jesse Schule, the Iceman, coming up first here, and then JM Sports, my man Jeff Michaels, gonna shut it down. I made him promise not to pick the Chiefs money line or Chiefs spread to be on this show, because every time Jeff goes against my teams in Philadelphia, he's always the one cashing the ticket, and I'm always the one with my tail in between my legs. It is a Tuesday here, which means it is $2 Tuesday, and that means at sportsmemo.com, it is your $5 triple play Tuesday. Over at Wager Talk, Dwayne Bryant has a $2 play, a 5% max bet in college basketball. He's number one in college basketball over at Wager Talk since the beginning of the year. And right here at Sports Memo, we got Tim Michael. He's in a 13-0 non-conference play for you for just $2. R&R totals with a 5-star total bet in the NBA, and then Cajun Sports with an NBA Black Label Reverse Insider. Quite the name that we have there from Cajun Sports. You can get all three of those plays for just $5. Also have a great Super Bowl to Super Bowl special going on that we'll talk about. But let's get right into it. It's Super Bowl week. Let's welcome in the Iceman himself, Jesse Schule, joining the show. And Jesse, always great when we got Mr. Perfect stopping by. How's it been going? And I know you're getting excited now that football is coming to a close, man. It's quite the change of guard. How you been, brother?
Been doing well. Big game. One final game, but it's the big one. But go big or go home, as they say. It's been a good start to 2023 for me. 58-33 overall, 64%. That kind of winning percentage will make you money. And I'm hoping to hit it big in the Super Bowl with a couple really big plus money props.
Yeah, I love what you're coming here with, because not only do we have wall-to-wall Super Bowl coverage on the show today, my guys are speaking my language, because we got all plus money plays for you today in the free play section here on Sports Memo Today. So let's get into it. You and I maybe have some differing looks as far as the value goes when you're talking about the MVP market in the Super Bowl. We've seen some love in the marketplace for a long shot that opened up. However, you still think, speaking of that buzzword value, there might just be still some to be had with a long shot look at a defensive MVP. What are we talking about here, Jay?
Well, there are those on Twitter that think it's a sucker's bet to play a defensive player to win MVP, but I'm going to try and talk you out of that. Everybody thinks quarterbacks win all the time. I looked into it a little bit. The last 22 years, the quarterbacks have won 13 of those 22 MVP awards. That's only 60%. So, I mean, that's 40% chance that it's going to be a non-quarterback based on that sample size. We got 5 wide receivers, 3 linebackers, and 1 safety. The linebackers that have won in the last 22 years are Ray Lewis, Von Miller, and Malcolm Smith for Seattle. And we got Dexter Jackson of Tampa Bay, the safety, winning it with a couple interceptions in that Super Bowl. But I'm looking at this one, and Mahomes, sure, you could get plus money on Mahomes to win MVP, but you could also just get plus money on the Chiefs to win the game. So what's the point there? And Jalen Hurts, I don't think there's any value in taking Hurts. I mean, he's not really throwing the ball around the yard that much. Sure, he gets involved in the running game, but I think it's asking a lot for him to sort of steal the show here. I mean, the game script for Eagles fans, what Eagles fans want to see if you like the Eagles to win this game is they want to come out and grind out a win by pounding the run, splitting the ball around between a variety of different running backs. So I don't see any value in one of their running backs winning this. So I'm looking at their defensive star, Hassan Reddick, at 28-1. Like I said, 4 defensive players in the last 22 years, 28-1 is a lot better payout than that percentage would indicate.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, too, with Hassan Reddick, this is also a guy who wasn't even in the final running for Defensive Player of the Year, despite the season that he turned in. And you saw the motivation on display with what he was able to do, knocking out, Brock Purdy in that NFC round. So Hassan Reddick, Super Bowl MVP. I will say, Jesse, and you should head on over to Twitter, follow me at Newbie Talks, and you can see the little back and forth that my man, the Iceman, and I had. The real reasoning for me on maybe the consternation regarding the Hassan Reddick Super Bowl MVP was when this opened, you could get a 50-1 shot on it. And now it's down to 28-1. However, to bolster your point, I mean, if you're a casual bettor, Jesse, and you bet $10 to win 280, I think we would probably both argue there's still some value there for someone just looking to have a little free roll in the Super Bowl. And I think the stats that you laid out indicate that, right?
Yeah, no, I just don't think there's any value in taking the quarterbacks. The quarterbacks
Yeah,
are
I would agree with that.
overpriced, in my opinion, for the MVP.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, head on over to wagertalk.com. Ralph Michaels has his Super Bowl prop guide there. The last defensive player to win MVP was Von Miller. It happened 7 years ago. So you're saying there's a chance Hassan Reddick getting this MVP. That's the free play from my man, Jesse Schule, the Iceman. Head on over to his page, sm.buzz/JS. Grab his top-rated plays right this moment. Let's give another free one to the folks here in Super Bowl 57. I love this one that you have for the folks because you're coming out of the top rope in the wrestling singlet with this one because you have a play on a quarterback not named Hurts, not named Mahomes to have the most passing yards in the playoffs. How are we breaking this one down, Jesse? I was intrigued when you sent this one in.
Well, Kansas City fans better close their ears because they're not going to like this one. But the fact of the matter is, Patrick Mahomes is he's currently sitting on 521 passing yards. Joe Burrow is at 721 passing yards. So he's got a 200-yard lead on Mahomes. Now, everybody's thinking to themselves, well, Mahomes is going to throw for over 200 yards in the Super Bowl. And I agree, he probably will. But if you look at the odds, he's minus 400 to throw for over 200 yards. Sorry, minus 1,400. And the odds on Joe Burrow hanging on to his 200-yard lead are 8-1. There's a lot of things that can go wrong for a Patrick Mahomes playing with a high ankle sprain. I will mention that against the Jags, he threw for 195 yards. So even if the Philadelphia pass rush doesn't make a mess of him, which that could happen, or he's just unable to throw for more than 190, 195 yards, maybe Kansas City gets the running game involved a little more. For a payout of 8-1, I think it's worth a sprinkle for sure.
Man, I love that breakdown there. It's like a tinfoil hat play. I love to see it, Jesse. And man, for what it's worth, I don't think there will be any bigger fan of a potential Chad Henne sighting in the Super Bowl than you and anybody who sprinkles on this one. Am I right there, brother?
Well, yeah, I mean, it'll make me look good, I guess. But
yeah. And hey,
I'm not sure it's good for the game to see Chad Henne come in. I mean, maybe that's not the game I want to watch.
Yeah, well, me right outside of Philadelphia, that might just be the game I want to watch. We're not wishing any ill will anywhere, but an 8-1 ticket, it's worth conversation for sure. Jesse Schule with some 2 big time plus money plays for you. Why not? If the bankroll allows for it, a little sprinkle here, a little sprinkle there. Jesse, when they head on over to your page after they cash some great tickets with you, what are they going to see over there at sm.buzz/JS? Have anything loaded already for the Super Bowl? Or as we move forward past the NFL season, what can people expect when they ride with you?
Well, for the Super Bowl, you can expect side and total and a handful of props. And for today, a 3-pack of college basketball. And on a daily basis, I try to get one NBA out every day. NBA has been my bread and butter of late. Really hit my stride with NBA. 6 of my last 7 have cashed and hitting over 70% in 2023. So that's what's going on over at my page.
So it's a great time to hop on in with the Iceman. We still have that Super Bowl to Super Bowl special that you can lock in right now. Head to your favorite handicappers page and lock them in for an entire year of action. Every play, every sport, every release. Starting the second that you buy, it goes through the Super Bowl 58. Not this Sunday. No, that is next year in February. Ride with your favorite handicapper through an entire year with a great Super Bowl to Super Bowl special. Huge thanks to Jesse Schule. Always love talking with the Iceman, and hope he does go perfect on Super Bowl Sunday so we can see the Mr. Perfect drop on his Twitter timeline. Let's welcome in our second guest. Talk to my man, JM Sports, aka Jeff Michaels, the stat prince himself. You can find him over at sm.buzz/JM. And Jeff, I'm just glad as I look at the free plays that you have for the folks, one of them doesn't say Kansas City money line. How you doing, brother? Good to see you.
Yeah, I can't complain. I'm always happy to be back. And it's kind of funny that you just keep inviting me back with these opportunities. You're just giving me the layup to just bring it back. But I didn't today. I did not.
Well, I appreciate that, man. And it will guarantee that as we move past the NFL season, we'll be bringing you back. Once the NBA playoffs roll around, you can fade my Sixers because guess what? I'm probably going to be doing the same thing right there with you. So, brother, let's get into some Super Bowl props here for the folks. I love that you and Jesse both came with some plays that have pluses next to them because I, much like yourself, love the contrarian stuff, love the underdog stuff, love anytime we're getting plus money back. Great way to pad the bankroll there. So, the total in this game, it's sitting around 50.5. We got some 51s popping out there, and this over money just continues to come in. So what I think it opened around like 48, 49, and it just keeps on ticking up. So you say, hey, why don't we just not chase this over money? Why don't we attack it at a plus price differently? And you're maybe looking at a different way to attack the over in this game. What do you got for the folks?
Yeah, absolutely. That breaks down what 51 points is 7 touchdowns, give
Yep.
or take. That's 49. So that puts you here. You're getting plus 170 for both teams to score 3 or more touchdowns. And, looking at it, Philadelphia with Jalen Hurts at quarterback has only been held under this number 3 times this season, and that's in a 17-game sample size. And Kansas City's only been held under this number 5 times out of their 19 games. And, one of the things that is a little concerning to me about Philly, Dan, you might want to shut your ears, is this playoff run, the offensive production of the teams that they've played against in the playoffs hasn't impressed me. Obviously, if San Francisco was at full strength, we may have a different story here. And obviously, from the regular season, we know what Philadelphia is capable of. But we also know that Mahomes has a lot of experience or a lot more experience, at least I should say, in this situation than Philadelphia does. So I do think that there's an experience factor that's going to come into play with Kansas City. And I do think that Philadelphia offense is legit. I mean, the Giants weren't the healthiest team, or excuse me, San Fran wasn't the healthiest team, but they still put up some numbers on that defense. And in the last 3 road games, Philadelphia has allowed 3 or more touchdowns in all of them. So most of these games that they played recently have been at home. And the last meeting between these two teams, 72 combined points was last season, but 42-30 was the last score. So I like at least 3 touchdowns. That's only looking at 21-21 at least there. So give me that plus 170, no question.
Yeah, and I think one of the things, too, that Eagles fans know well coming into this game and NFL fans know definitely is that Andy Reid, with 2 weeks to prepare, they're going to come proper with an offensive scheme. And yes, the pass rush is tenacious, but there have been some cracks in this Philadelphia defensive armor, especially in the second half of the year, exposing them, going a little bit deeper on passes. I expect some short passes as well. So yeah, 2 weeks to prepare. I think Andy will be able to muster up some points. Can the Eagles get their touchdowns? I think against Spagnuolo's defenses, they can do just that as well. So over for the both teams to have 3 or more touchdowns plus 170. You can get it out there now. So that's one plus money play. And then you wanted to break down not just who you think could maybe get into the end zone for Kansas City, but who could get into the end zone first. Now, some people describe these as, needle in a haystack kind of bets, but if you look at how Kansas City's offense runs and how they probably look to attack this Eagles defense, I think the look that you have for first Kansas City touchdown scorer might just be worth a little sprinkle. What are we looking at here, Jeff?
Yeah, and, in my opinion, the needle in the haystack aspect isn't horribly far off, but I do think that that's more directed if you're going for just a generic first touchdown scorer.
Hmm.
I do think then you're running the risk of who wins the coin flip, who defers, who gets the kickoff. But I think you negate a little bit of that when you look at a specific team, and getting Travis Kelce for the Kansas City first touchdown at plus 310 was almost unbelievable to me. I mean, in the last 4 years, Travis Kelce has played 11 playoff games. He has 13 touchdowns. He's got 6 TDs in his last 5 playoff games. And in the last game, even with that high ankle sprain, this Kansas City team passed it more than they normally do, to be honest. And I see that trend continuing. Pat Mahomes said he's more ready than he was at Cincinnati. That 2 weeks that Andy benefits Andy Reid obviously also benefits Pat Mahomes. And I think Travis Kelce has a little bit of I don't want to say a chip on his shoulder, but the blood on the other side gives you a little more to fight for. So I think if Kansas City wins this game, we could be looking at a Travis Kelce MVP too.
Oh, wow. A little extra one on the way out there from my man Jeff Michaels. Hey, do you have anything loaded already? And how much do you delve into these props heading into the Super Bowl? So if people head on over to your page, sm.buzz/JMS, what are they going to find over there? A whole prop package, or how are you going to be attacking the Super Bowl here?
Yeah, definitely going to be diving in a little deeper in the next couple of days. Been looking at size and totals a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, if you're a prop better, the Super Bowl obviously is the best opportunity for you. I mean, I remember a couple of years, you could bet on how long the last note of the national anthem was going to be. So if you look hard enough, you can definitely find some props here that are definitely going to give you some plus money opportunities that are going to be good opportunities. But right now, I got a nice 2-pack of college basketball. Had a big 10% winner yesterday, so kept the $9 streak alive, and we got a 2-for-1 college basketball for $9 over on the site.
You love to see it. That's my man, Jeff Michaels. Definitely check him out now. And as Super Bowl rolls to a close, football is ending. Both of our guys here killing it on the hardwood. Jesse Schule with some looks on the ice for you as well. He handicaps soccer. So you never lose out on some money-making opportunities here. So on the way out, I'll throw a little something here at you because you heard both of these guys talking about potential points. I think maybe Jeff thinks there's going to be a little bit more scoring than maybe Jesse does. But if there is a lot of scoring, it likely means that there aren't as many punts. And I think we've also seen from this Eagles punter, Brett Kern, they're not too enthused about Brett Kern's ability to get the ball down the field if they need to punt. So that might mean some shots taken on third down, maybe some fourth down conversions. So a little prop from your host here. How about we look at under 7.5 total punts in the game? That's a little prop that I have for you that I'm betting myself. Under 7.5 total punts in the Super Bowl. Little one for you on the way out. What kind of prop bets are you throwing in? Hop below in the comments and let us know what's your favorite play. And make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit subscribe so you never miss any of the great shows here, especially during Super Bowl week at SportsMemo TV and Wager Talk TV. And that's going to do it for us. We will be back on Thursday with another wall-to-wall Super Bowl edition. All the props that you could potentially need here for Super Bowl Sunday. Big thanks to Jesse Schule. Big thanks to Jeff Michaels. Big thanks to Eric doing a terrific job behind the scenes. As always, I'm your host, Dan Alexander, and we'll see you Thursday here right back on Sports Memo Today.